As of third quarter 2023, FirstNet offers more than 2.91 million square miles of coverage. But geography, terrain, and zoning still limit placement of large cell sites and impact your signal in some areas. FirstNet has been working closely with you, first responders, to develop solutions that will help address these challenges and any coverage gaps you might have. FirstNet Mega Range can boost your signal strength by up to 6 times more than that of standard devices. Compact rapid deployables and mini CRDs are portable cell sites you can set up in minutes to connect to the network via satellite, and they don't rely on commercial power availability. Finally, some building construction may affect your signal. AT&T's Cell Booster Pro can boost in-building connectivity for FirstNet devices. FirstNet is your network, and your connectivity is our priority.
We're part of a team that's dedicated to safety. Yours, your families, your communities. We're always on, always ready. Just like us, one network stands ready for the moment when it's called to serve. Thanks to this network, FirstNet, our team can be there when you need us. Even in times of peak demand, like a major sporting event or huge concert, it stands ready for the unexpected. That's because FirstNet is the only network designed with first responders, for first responders, and built with AT&T to ensure priority and preemption is at its core. Taken together, always on, priority, and preemption on FirstNet means confidence. Confidence that comes from a network built to reliably connect America's first responders.
To you, dedication isn't just a word. It's why you're in uniform. Speed isn't measured in miles per hour, but in lives saved and disasters disrupted. Reliability isn't knowing what will happen next. It's knowing you'll always be there first. Being first means you'll always need to be connected. FirstNet is the only wireless network with Band 14, giving first responders dedicated connectivity during emergencies, with no throttling and priority all the time. Fast, reliable, and putting others first aren't optional. They're standards you set every day. Priority isn't a perk, it's a promise.
There's a significant amount of evidence that shows that integrating animals, specifically therapy animals, and for GMR therapy dogs, into mental health programs, they have significant long-term benefits, all the way from improved cognitive ability to decrease in stress injury formation. GMR has a pretty incredible relationship with FirstNet, and in the early parts of 2020, we teamed up with the Response Operations Group to develop a program where GMR therapy dogs and handlers would deploy on behalf of the Response Operations Group. Since then, it's grown to a response which has included line-of-duty death for law enforcement officers, large-scale fire events, emergency operations centers that have opened up in the wake of natural disasters. And our teams have deployed on behalf of the ROG team to provide frontline health and wellness resources to FirstNet teams. It's pretty incredible to see the work that ROG the dog does in those scenarios, and we've received a significant amount of positive feedback on them showing up.
Mission-critical communication is key to everything that we do, from responding to emergencies to teaching the next generation of first responders. We have to get messages out quickly and reliably so that our community feels safe. In addition to the emergency responses that we have here on campus and in the region, we respond throughout the state of California with our Type 3 engine and firefighters for significant fires throughout the state of California. The UC Davis Fire Department is really excited about our implementation of an LMR to LTE solution using mission critical push to talk. We use FirstNet Rapid Response on the Ciatas for that easy access communication, both on band 14 and the LTE talk groups that we're able to create. And it's really amazing to see the mixture of the two on a single device. We actually have the nation's #1 hands-on EMT certification program, and we also have a paramedic program that we run through the UC Davis Fire Department.
Currently, we have 30 students who are employed by the department. They are working these large events on campus, such as football games, picnic day, other large events where it requires multiple teams of people in different locations. As a department in the EMS division, we're able to use FirstNet Rapid Response on the Ciata device to create talk groups for events that we work when we go out and provide medical standbys. We're also able to request resources through fire dispatch very quickly with just a click of a button.
Our mission critical push to talk that is LMR to LTE solution doesn't replace LMR. We still use LMR every single day, but it does complement it in a lot of different ways. It's a significantly less expensive technology than most of the mobile and portable radios that we use today. The actual device and the solution that makes that happen is small, compact, easy to have installed, and is reliable. We can either do LMR to LTE off of cellular or internet protocol. One of the benefits going in on FirstNet is the support from the FirstNet team throughout the region and their desire to get the newest technology in the hands of first responders. The more users we have, the larger the drive for technological advances will be, and the more we'll get what it is that we want out of FirstNet and the devices that we use to keep people safe.
I subscribe because I tend to be on duty 24/7. As a leader, you take great responsibility for the safety of your people, but also the safety of your community. I had to have a reliable way of getting a hold of my office because some decisions my staff can absolutely make, but some decisions are my responsibility. So having the ability to rely on something when it comes to communication is critical. FirstNet has given me peace of mind because it's proven itself to me.
As of third quarter 2020,
FirstNet was created in response to the terrorist attacks of September 11th and the public safety communication challenges on that day. Our mission is to build and oversee the first nationwide public safety broadband network through a public-private partnership with AT&T. The network now operates in every state and territory, connecting rural areas, tribal nations, territories, and cities. FirstNet provides the reliability, interoperability, and innovation that public safety needs every day and for every emergency. The FirstNet Authority is expanding and enhancing the network so that FirstNet keeps pace with technology advances and meets public safety's evolving needs. We are investing in more coverage, evolving the network to full 5G and beyond, enhancing mission-critical services, and ensuring public safety has a voice in the future of their network. FirstNet.
Good morning. I'm Richard Carrizo, Chairman of the Board for the First Responder Network Authority. And I'd like to welcome you all here to this wonderful event that we're getting ready to do in this press release. Most importantly, I'd like to welcome and thank the County of Fairfax, Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department, and their Fire Chief, John Butler, for being here today. Today definitely marks a milestone in the evolution of FirstNet. Just 2 years ago, some of us were downtown, actually next week, marking the 10th year anniversary of the signing of the Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Bill. That was created, or that helped create and did create, the First Responder Network Authority, the nation's only, and I'm going to repeat, only public safety broadband network. We're here to launch the next phase of our network, the public safety broadband network, with a major investment announcement in innovation and mission-critical services for all of public safety. It's kind of symbolic, though, today that we're here in this fire station, which is so wonderful that we're able to be here with my own blood, and but most importantly, that we're in the state of Virginia. FirstNet Authority headquarters is just in Reston, just up the street from where we're at today. Virginia in 2017 was also our first state to opt in and start the journey for FirstNet. And also our host, Fairfax County Fire and Rescue, was an early adopter of FirstNet and has been innovative and a true partner for us. At this time, I'd like to introduce, again, Fairfax County's Fire and Rescue Chief, John Butler, to say a few words. And again, John, we thank you for being here. John is a true colleague in the fire service and friend, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, and welcome to Fairfax County Fire Station 26, Edsel Road. I can't go any further without stopping for a moment and thanking the three captains that run this fire station and run these calls. This is a working operational fire station, and as you've already seen and you'll continue to see this morning, the tunes will drop and they will race out of here, which is exactly fitting that we're here, not only to bring really good news about the FirstNet Authority, but also where it matters the most, right here on the ground. So I do thank Captain Patrick Caruso and Captain Mike Grulick, who's working today, as well as Captain Chris Brown. Thank you all and your teams. Myself and Ron Cooley, we come by here regularly, and every morning they're preparing. They've been preparing for, 3-4 weeks for this day. So I really appreciate that. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you. It has been a pleasure to work with Chief Caruso for years, as he said, both as colleagues in the fire service and more recently as chair of the FirstNet Authority Board. Thank you. Also in the audience, we have our president of the Metro Fire Chiefs, Chief Lloyd Center from Chesterfield, Virginia, as well as the vice president, the second vice president of the International Association of Fire Chiefs, Chief Tricia Wolford from Anne Arundel County. Thank you. FirstNet is integral to our comms here in Fairfax, as has been noted. We use FirstNet daily for our operations. We've moved operations to FirstNet after opt-in in July of 2017 as one of the first users, as was mentioned. And it's been several years in the partnership. We've seen the results. We see the results every day and able to make and handle large and small scale operations and responses with the connectivity and the power of FirstNet. In my conversations with firefighters all over this county at all levels of operations, communications, the need for situational awareness comes up. It comes up daily in every firehouse and every station visit. Knowing we have a nationwide network dedicated to public safety is important. We're excited for the future of the network and the announcement today about more investment into the network to evolve and expand the network. Now, I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague from a neighboring city of Alexandria, Ms. Renee Gordon, who is the director of the city's Department of Emergency and Customer Communications and the vice chair of the FirstNet Authority Board. Director, thank you.
Wow, good morning. Thank you, Chief Butler. As he said, I'm Renee Gordon. I'm from the city of Alexandria, and I'm the vice chair of the FirstNet Authority Board. Today is a big day. We're leaning into the future of FirstNet for all of public safety. But how I express myself, I tell a little story. So I got like a 30-second story. So when I was a police officer, my partner, Mike, was looking at this suspect, I'll call it. And Mike took off running. As a partner, what you do next is you take off running after him. Now, I'm running hard, and Mike is running hard, but Mike didn't realize it was me behind him because I'm running fast, and surely a girl can't run that fast. So when Mike catches this guy, I'm right there with him. And so, to me, Mike represents the mission. Mike represents every first responder, every call taker, every EMT. I am FirstNet. I am speed, I'm endurance, and I'm reliability. And I'm there with him every step of the way. So I want to go back and I want to thank Virginia, and I want to thank Fairfax again, because in order to be early adopters, you have to have vision. And vision without faith is just a thought. And so having faith in something, in the vision, is believing that it's going to come true. And thank you, because it did come true, because here we are. We have over 5 million connections. And because of that, vision and faith came together over 5 million times. So speaking of vision, I want to invite our next speaker, our CEO and Executive Director, Joe Wassel.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Director Gordon. It's great to see you, hard to follow you. We are an operational firehouse, and I couldn't be happier to be with you this morning with just a few announcements. So as Renee said, I am Joe Wassel. I'm the Executive Director and the Chief Executive Officer at the FirstNet Authority. It's amazing to be here in Station 26, and they're just about to roll out, and let's just hope they have a safe run. And they'll be in our thoughts and prayers as they roll out of here into the unknown. We are here in the shadow of the Pentagon. And I was there on that day on September 11th, and I was proud to be there, and I'm proud to be here with you today. Well, let's take a moment to talk about the journey since 9/11. We passed law in 2012. We began the consultation phase. I love that sound. The consultation phase was 100% successful, with every state, territory, and the District of Columbia signing up with that vision. They had vision. We were building the trust. Then we got the contract award with one of the best partners any federal government arrangements ever had. A public-private partnership with AT&T. They've been amazing. And then we began to build and build and build. And in March of last year, the initial build-out was complete in every state, in every territory, and the District of Columbia. But that's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the journey. So here at the FirstNet Authority and our partner at AT&T, we're not done, and we are launching 3.0. FirstNet 3.0 begins right here, right now, with all of you. But before I give you the dollar figure, let me say that our journey is fueled. It is fueled by leadership, partnership, and friendship. It's fueled by dedication, it's fueled by engagement, and it's fueled by innovation. And yes, it's fueled with funding. So let me just read this so I don't get it wrong, because these are some big numbers for public safety today. We are excited to unveil a 10-year investment, an initiative totaling over $8 billion that will transform this network into the 3.0. We will kick off the network evolution and an investment totaling up to $6.3 billion, which will transition the network to full 5G. It will bolster coverage and upgrade mission-critical solutions and services that public safety have asked for, needs, and we will deliver. We anticipate an additional investment of up to $2 billion over the next decade to deliver Band 14 coverage in every state, in every territory, in the District of Columbia, and rural areas, and capacity in the urban areas. We will invest in coverage enhancement that reflect public safety factors and network considerations. We are building a deliberate and strategic investment to ensure that we maximize these dollars, and the impact for public safety will begin the ripple effect starting right here, right now. This announcement reflects our commitment and dedication to lead public safety communications for the nation and the global community, because the world is watching. As I look to the future, I continue to drive home with my team every single day that we must crisscross this amazing country that we are honored to live in. And we will listen, we will learn, and we will lead for better network solutions for public safety, just as the fire heroes just rolled out of here in the shadow of 9/11 in the Pentagon, and we will continue to do this. So let's continue the conversation, and let me introduce my new friend, Marcus Anderson, who is the Deputy Secretary for Public Safety and Homeland Security here in the state of Virginia. So glad to have you with us. Thank you for coming all the way up, and thanks for being first in the nation to sign up.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, good morning. It's a great day to be in Virginia, I will say that. Joe, thank you. And like Joe just said, we in Virginia are the first opt-in state. I've been in public safety for over 30 years, first as a municipal police officer in Alabama, later on as a federal agent. I have seen what communication does. I've worked in numerous cities across the United States. I've encountered communication difficulties, and I understand how this impacts public safety. Now with this network, we have a platform to do this more seamlessly. While true, Virginia was the first to opt in, we are even more proud of the successful and ongoing public-private partnership between Commonwealth public safety agencies, the FirstNet Authority, and AT&T FirstNet. We've seen firsthand how the network performed in large-scale events such as the Capitol, NASCAR, and concerts. The FirstNet has performed seamlessly. The success we've seen wouldn't be possible without effective partnerships. We've worked closely with the Authority and AT&T to provide critical feedback, resulting in a better, more effective network for our first responders. Ultimately, the network has been an incredible resource, helping protect our residents. Thank you for the partnership, and we are so excited to hear about the FirstNet Board's action and to immediately reinvest to build the public safety network of the future here today. I am pleased to introduce my colleague and newfound friend, Sheriff Stacey Kincaid, who has served the citizens of Fairfax County for over 30 years. Thank you, Sheriff Kincaid, FirstNet, AT&T, and every first responder for the Commonwealth, including those that just jumped on the fire truck, for what you are doing to protect Virginia. Sheriff Kincaid.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you today. My first experience with FirstNet goes back several years when I participated in a very similar event. One of our agency's priorities is making sure that we have mission-ready, dedicated, reliable, and secure wireless communication platform throughout our adult detention center. Our agency is unique in the public safety arena, as a majority of our deputies work in facilities with steel and reinforced concrete that can hinder signal propagation, leading to dead zones and unreliable connections. I am confident that our personnel, inmates, and the community we serve are safer as we have incorporated FirstNet's always-on priority and preemption, access to critical applications such as inmate information, electronic medical records, and emergency response protocols with minimal delay. These features have enhanced our overall operations and effectiveness. FirstNet's dedicated spectrum and robust infrastructure have also provided unparalleled coverage and reliability to our civil enforcement deputies as they serve the residents of Fairfax County. FirstNet's high level of availability ensures superior interoperable connectivity with our latest up-to-date portable radios and ensures that all county public safety agencies stay mission ready. As we embark on the next phase of our public safety evolution, I am confident FirstNet will continue to serve as a catalyst for the Fairfax County Sheriff's Office to ensure the safety and well-being of all people we serve, both inside our facilities and in the greater community. Thank you again for having me here today and for your continued support for our public safety mission. It is now my pleasure to introduce my new friend from the great state of from Seattle, Washington, the chief of the fire department. What is so funny? And his name is Chief Chris Lombard. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning. I know that there are many in Washington that think that Seattle might be the name of the state, but the rest of the state would be very, she got it right. Well, good morning. My name is Chris Lombard. I serve as the Assistant Chief for the Seattle Fire Department and Chair of the FirstNet Authority's Public Safety Advisory Committee. I'd like to extend a thank you to Chief and President of the International Association of Fire Chiefs, John Butler, and the Fairfax County Rescue and Fire folks here. I'd also like to extend a thank you to Director and CEO of FirstNet Authority for their outstanding support of this phenomenal national public safety effort. What seems like many years ago now, when Congress created the FirstNet Authority and put into motion the mechanisms to create this great network of ours, all to further the communications interoperability needs of the nation's emergency responders. They wanted to make sure that public safety was guaranteed to have a firm and diverse voice at the table. The PSAC is that voice. The PSAC's membership includes over 40 voices from across the nation, from one coast, Seattle, all the way to the other coast over here, representing 911, EMS, law enforcement, and the fire service. But we don't stop there. We as emergency responders have long since recognized that with many of our efforts in our nation's disasters, our ability to maintain and sustain those efforts beyond the initial response are wholly dependent on pre-planning and supporting government structures like city, county, tribal, and state executives and or councils, and are equally dependent on follow-on support entities like transportation, utilities, and emergency management. All are included and represented within the PSAC. The PSAC is where the good, the bad, and the ugly of public safety information needs are openly discussed and worked out, all in the spirit of making things better on that next response, that we might receive or transmit the best available information when we need it, to whom we need it, and from where we need it, all with the intent to collectively better reduce the loss of life, the loss of property, and or to protect the environment. Through an open and public bidding process, the FirstNet Authority was able to establish a contract with a willing and able partner in AT&T, represented today by Jim Bugel. From the beginning, before the FirstNet network even existed, public safety through the PSAC told both the Authority and AT&T that we weren't interested in hype or splashy commercials. To borrow from the 1989 W.P. Kinsella and Phil Robinson film starring Kevin Costner, The Field of Dreams, public safety constantly said, if you build it, they will come, and come they did, which leads us to today. Again, the PSAC would like to thank the FirstNet Authority's Board of Directors and is pleased to be part of this announcement, first, that celebrates the completion of the initial contractual requirements for system build-out ahead of schedule and on budget. How often do you hear that from big, huge federal projects? But more importantly, for today's discussion, the PSAC is ecstatic to be part of this reinvestment announcement. This announcement is about a promise fulfilled and a promise expanded upon. The investment is about continuing to further extend the communications capacity for and within the nation's emergency responder community. These investments to make the network faster and reach more people will save lives. In the initial build-out, All 56 states and territories articulated where their emergency responders needed better coverage, ruthless preemption, and priority traffic. Today we are doubling down on that, well actually more than doubling down, considerably more than doubling down on that commitment with a promise to go faster and to reach further, to cover more rural areas, more Indian country, to cover more responders. To our FirstNet board and partner, AT&T, on behalf of the PSAC, thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce my dear friend and colleague and previous chair of the PSAC, Mr. Paul Patrick.
It's truly an honor to be here today and to follow Chris Lombard. That's great because usually he follows me, but Chris is doing such a great job as the PSAC chair, and you need to know that. This investment comes on the cusp of FirstNet's anniversary on February 22nd, which Chief Crizzo mentioned. I've been involved with FirstNet since the early years, or 1.0, as Joe would say, and as a board member since 2018. Just over a decade, we've accomplished so much. It gives me great pride, and I trust the network and the public-private partnership will continue to do great things for public safety. When I first joined the FirstNet board, I remember being sat down in a room with a video camera and say, okay, tell us what you think is important, talking about public safety projects and topics that are very passionate. I came from an emergency medical services background, so that's obviously what I talked about. And I spoke that telemedicine, I think, was such a great futuristic concept and is going to transform emergency response. And moving forward 2 years, it's interesting to look back on what telemedicine did during the events that we had and how FirstNet made it possible by bringing reliable network of the broadband public safety spectrum and how important it was for developing telemedicine. I can only think that with the 5G, what the possibilities for telemedicine and EMS will be in the future. I've also been very passionate about the tribal communities, and as the liaison to the tribal working group, and from my Cherokee heritage, I say Osio Dohadali Ede Oholada. I'm so thankful to be here and be part of the FirstNet's history and to celebrate this momentous day together. These communities of tribal communities have long been left behind as broadband has built out. But with FirstNet, I've been able to see the continued commitment to bring broadband and coverage to our tribal communities. I've been involved with FirstNet cell site builds out on tribal lands in close coordination with tribal leaders. It is improving the way that tribal communities connect and communicate. And I know that the coverage enhancements that we've planned will continue to see the growth on our tribal lands and in our rural communities. So I'm so thankful to be here as part of FirstNet's history and to celebrate this momentous day together. It's my pleasure now to welcome Fire Chief Russ Miller and Police Chief William Johnson from the Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall in Virginia.
Good morning. I'm glad to be part of today's event. FirstNet is very important to DoD as we operate with first responders inside and outside the fence line on a daily basis. Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall is part of an automatic aid system in Northern Virginia, as well as a mutual aid system in the District of Columbia. Back on 9/11, we had 3 firefighters on site at the Pentagon standing by for President Bush to return from Florida. 2 of the firefighters at the Pentagon helipad saw the aircraft headed toward the Pentagon in their direction. After American Airlines Flight 77 hit the Pentagon, calls were coming in and units were being dispatched for a downed aircraft at various locations. One of the firefighters was able to radio the Fort Myer fire dispatcher that an aircraft hit the Pentagon. It was clear from 9/11 of the need for a new communication system and why it is so important to have a good communication system for responding agencies to be interoperable. Thank you.
Welcome. My name is William Johnson. I'm the police chief at Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall, Arlington National Cemetery, support to the Military District of Washington. 23 years ago, I was a part of the first responders at the Pentagon on 9/11. With multiple agencies on ground, it took several days to establish communication between state, local, and federal partners. Because of the events that day, when I became a police chief 17 years ago, I knew I had to establish communication as our #1 priority in case of emergency. What we were looking for is reliable communication, redundant capability, and an interoperable and resilient system. Interoperability and seamless interagency communications are cornerstone for our effective emergency response and public safety operations. In times of crisis, whether it is a natural disaster or a public safety threat, the ability for different agencies to communicate and collaborate effectively can mean the difference between life and death. FirstNet Communication, the dedicated public safety broadband network, plays a pivotal role in enabling the crucial interoperability by providing a secure, reliable, prioritized communication platform. FirstNet ensures that first responders from various agencies can easily share information, coordinate response, and make critical decisions in real time. Imagine a scenario where police, fire department, emergency services, and other agencies need to work together to respond to major incident. With FirstNet, these responders can communicate seamlessly, share vital data, video feeds, and update instantaneously, leading to quicker response times and better communication efforts. Interoperability goes just beyond just technical capability. It's about creating a culture of collaboration and information sharing among different agencies. By breaking down the communication barriers and fostering a spirit of cooperation, we enhance our overall effectiveness of our emergency response system. As we look to the future, it is essential that we continue to invest in technology like FirstNet and prioritize interoperability standards to ensure our first responders have tools that they need to keep our community safe. By embracing interoperability and promoting interagency communication, we can build a resilient and responsive public safety infrastructure that prepared to face any challenge that comes our way. Thank you. And now I will introduce Jim Bagel, the FirstNet Program President for AT&T.
Thank you all very much, and it's truly an honor to be here. AT&T is so delighted to be a partner with Public Safety and the Public Safety Network. As you've heard today, this network is Public Safety's network. It was instigated, it was created, it was designed by Public Safety for Public Safety. We are humbled to be a part of it. Most importantly, we know that it's the right thing to do to serve public safety, to serve our communities. We look at this as an obligation to our nation and our nation's first responders. As we move forward, all 56 states and territories said yes to FirstNet, as you've heard. And there's no major disaster or event in this country where FirstNet is not playing a role. And it's because of your vision. It's because of the expansion of the network. Today, FirstNet covers more first responders than any other network in the country. And as we look ahead, delivering a standalone 5G core will be a game changer for all the nation's first responders. Rural, urban, tribal, territorial, and here we go. Thank you, I'll go fast. Thank you. Together with the FirstNet Authority, we will continue to drive innovation, expand mission-critical capabilities, build out a reliable connectivity dedicated to you and what you do for the most important times. It's real stories from public safety community that keep us moving as quickly as possible to deliver the tools, the solutions for first responders that are needed to keep them safe and to keep our communities safe. After all, we all know there's no connection more important than the one that saves lives. And it's a privilege to be by your side to deliver for you the network that requires so much to protect your friends and families across the country. Again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Wait for the doors to close, but I believe at this time we're going to have the signing of the document. at the front table. And I think Chief Butler wanted to get some of his crew members behind us for the photos while we do that. So if we can get... And we appreciate everybody being here today, especially since you fought the snow a little bit as you came in from wherever you came in from, and we do appreciate that. We appreciate every one of the webcast attendees that were present today. We thank you for joining in. We can't thank enough the $8 billion investment that's moving forward to public safety. So excited for that. As Jim kind of explained, this has been a system that was built for public safety by public safety, and this will continue to be built for and by public safety. And one other partner that I want to say thank you to, besides the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department, our local, state, and federal partners, and that was a partner that we just came about this week, and that was Vulcan Parking, that allowed us to park everybody today, and their hospitality for doing that. So with that, we'd like to thank everybody, and please safe travels back home. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Responder Network Authority issued an RFP to create a network dedicated to and built for the public safety community. AT&T answered that call, and FirstNet was born. During everyday emergencies and major events, devastating disasters, and even the global pandemic, FirstNet is committed to serving first responders and the public safety community with innovative, flexible solutions, dedicated, deployable assets,
Yeah, sure.
and our commitment to improving first responder health and wellness. FirstNet is always evolving to fit public safety's needs. The future of public safety communications is here.